Good evening. I'm David Swotek, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce is listed as questionable for tomorrow's game against the Denver Broncos. He injured his right ankle during the second quarter in the Chiefs' Sunday victory over the Vikings, but he did come back to play in the second half, so maybe he will push through the pain for tomorrow. Huskers women's gymnastics released their 2024 schedule today. They will be heading to Iowa State on January 5th for the first meet of the year, and the first home meet will be on January 20th in Bob Devaney. Husker baseball rounded out their scrimmage series today with the red team pulling ahead against the white team 9-4. Sophomore Dylan Carey led the offensive charge with a home run in the bottom of the third, scoring 2 runs, and the red team scored 4 more points in the bottom of the sixth, helping the red team win the series 2-1. And in the majors, let's take a look at MLB scores for tonight's playoff games. The Atlanta Braves and Philadelphia Phillies are tied at a game each in their series. The Phillies are pulling ahead in Game 3, 7-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Game 4 of the series between the Houston Astros and Minnesota Twins starts later tonight. Astros looking to finish the series out. They are ahead 2-1. The Los Angeles Dodgers and Arizona Diamondbacks play Game 3 of their series tonight as well. The Diamondbacks are hoping to sweep the Dodgers. Diamondbacks are ahead 2-0. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Coming up next is Hour 1 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Here's the snap back to Reggie Love. He gets hit at the goal line, and a ball might have popped out. I don't think he made it in there. Nebraska's black shirts have put together a goal line stand and will take over at the 1-yard line.
Husker volleyball sent to the left. Krause again. Unreal. Another thump from Lindsey Krause.
Here's the snap back. Zone read. Take the handoff. Harburg's got it. 20, 15, 10, 5, dives, touchdown, Nebraska.
Controlled by the Huskers. Again, Lindsey left pin for the match. She got it. 25-14, Huskers set the race. Sweep number 9 this year for Nebraska. And your Huskers are 15-0 and a perfect 6-0 in the Big Ten.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Well, I know one Husker coach that's having a good day, Ed Foley. He's a big Phillies fan. They're putting it on the Braves today, 7-1, about to take a 2-1 lead. Well, they still got a ways to go.
He's not the only Phillies fan. There's a lot of Philadelphia.
Well, because they were all at Temple.
A lot of them are from the Philly area.
Right.
Like, they all like the Eagles.
Yep.
And
you're right.
All those Philadelphia teams.
I bet they're celebrating
the 76ers.
They're probably celebrating down in the old football offices right now. So saw Ed earlier today. I didn't talk to him about baseball, but I'm sure he is loving what the Phillies are doing to the Braves. Our own Russ Brown's not so happy. He's a big Braves guy. Welcome to Sports Island here on a Wednesday night. We got a great show coming your way in the next couple of hours. Jeremiah Searles has recorded his latest podcast, Sideline Slice with Searles. We'll play you a snippet of that, look back at that Illinois game, and talk about the off week and the back half of this football season for the Cornhuskers. Looking forward to that in hour number 1. Our second hour, we'll have our Big Ten Blitz, set up some matchups for the weekend. Probably the biggest one, the most impactful one, is Iowa at Wisconsin. That'll be one of the games that we will break down there. And we are going to hear from one of the Husker soccer stars. They play at home tomorrow night. Is it Florence?
It's okay.
Florence?
She goes by Florence, but when she's home, and so she's trying to teach me how to do it, and I didn't do it during
French?
the interview.
Is it a French pronunciation?
Yes, and Cole can attest to it. I was horrible at it, but it's like Florence. No,
okay. Florence.
No, yeah. It's like you roll the R in the middle or somewhere. But she goes by Flo. So
okay.
Florence Belzil.
Okay, we'll hear from her coming up in hour number 2. There's a pretty good chance of some thunderstorms tomorrow night, so that could play a little havoc with that matchup tomorrow with Maryland at 7:05 out at Himmler Stadium. But looking forward to hearing from her in the second hour. And as always, phone lines open for you, 402-413-2400. That doubles up as our text line, so if you want to fire off a text, anything you want to talk about is fair game. I want to start, I mentioned that Iowa-Wisconsin game is Saturday in Madison. And hang with me, folks. This is going to make sense when I get through this, but it may take 30 seconds or so for you to piece it together. But Iowa got some good news this week. Their senior defensive lineman, Noah Shannon, who's been a 2 or 3 year starter for them, was suspended back in August for his involvement in sports wagering, that big investigation that seems like it's just been taking place in the state of Iowa. He has now been cleared by the NCAA to practice with the team and could be back soon for games. So he'd been just like a student assistant for the first part of the year, but then the NCAA said, okay, he can now start practicing with the team. They are hoping for the NCAA's Division I Council to then completely clear him and get him back on the playing field for them. The reason I bring that up is because Nebraska basketball is still in a waiting pattern with Aaron Eulis, the point guard who transferred to the Cornhuskers from the Hawkeyes in the offseason through the transfer portal. He's kind of waiting to hear verdict on him. He pled guilty to that, yes, he did put some sports wagers down back in August. So he admitted to that, but I think they're all trying to sort out, did he bet actually on Hawkeye basketball games while he was a participant? So he's with the Huskers, he's practicing, but I think Fred Hoiberg and the staff are kind of going into this year with the thought we won't have him. But if this happens and Shannon now is getting cleared, maybe there's some hope that Eulis gets to play this year.
Do they have the same lawyer? I know that a few of those guys are represented by the same lawyer. And also, did they have the same, did he plead guilty? That's what I kind of wonder, if it was kind of the same circumstances. Did they have the same hour or whatever? Because, you know, there's different betting totals that bring down the certain levels of punishments. Shannon
did disclose to the NCAA that he was wagering on sporting events.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, if that sets the precedent, and if it's similar in what, then, yeah, maybe.
And that's, you know, I think, and you brought this up a couple days ago when we were hearing from Fred Hoiberg yesterday up in Minneapolis. That's the one unsettled position for this basketball team, is the point guard spot. Yeah. Eulis would certainly fill that void, and that's the reason Nebraska went and got him, because they knew they had a need at point guard.
Yeah, really did. And, you know, I think they've got some guys that they think are going to be all right, but it's not what the plan was, right? And then they brought in the late edition transfer guy. Gosh, what was his name?
Boogie Coleman they picked up from Ball State. Yeah,
but I don't know if he's as much of a pass first kind of guy, you know, and so I haven't watched them play in practice. I was meaning to get out there this week, but for sure next week I plan on going out there. But, you know, I think Aaron was the guy they were looking to maybe really make this thing go and be that distributor, because they've got a lot of scorers. So, yeah, it would be super helpful, and even just having depth at that point guard spot, because, you know, then you're looking at some of those other players that aren't natural point guards to have to bring the ball up. And, I mean, Jamarcus Lawrence.
He would probably be the guy.
Yeah, Ramel Lloyd, I think maybe a little bit. Maybe the Nebraska kid, not Henry Burt. You know, anyways, there's a few guys that he played all 5 positions at the summer league.
The walk-on from up here in Ashland Green.
Yeah. So
Jacobson?
Yeah, Cale Jacobson, yeah. So they have some options there, but I don't think any of them are real true point guards. But, you know, they can handle the ball all right, but you'd like to have somebody that's there and some depth there at that spot too.
So we'll follow this. I saw this story today, and I thought, well, okay. I mean, they're starting to have some movement, and this thing's really been strange. And Kirk Ferentz brought it up a month or so ago about why are all these things happening just in the state of Iowa?
Yeah.
You know, this is probably going on a lot of college campuses. Why? So they either have an overeager district attorney or whoever's conducting this thing in that particular state. But now there's a little bit of movement, so we'll keep monitoring.
You'd think if it was just one university, that'd be one thing. Maybe they didn't have the kind of education. Maybe it got picked up throughout an athletics department or teams talking about it. Hey, did you see this? But the fact that it's 2 different ones, you can't imagine that both compliance departments dropped the ball that bad.
Right.
So, I just, and like he said, it's definitely going on more places than Iowa. So it definitely makes you wonder why they got popped as bad. And they had a lot of athletes at both universities that got dinged for that. So I got to imagine that if Two, also maybe if the NCAA is like, well, we're not seeing these cases anywhere else, if maybe they're not coming down as hard on these athletes. You just never know at the NCAA what their thought process is. But the fact that there isn't any other instances where it's blowing up to this level, I wonder if they're not going to come down as hard at this point in time.
Yeah. You have some friends that are at Oklahoma State. They cannot be happy today. This is kind of the same vein with the NCAA. Kansas basketball has been under heavy investigation for years. Well, today, the report came down. KU has been, they were placed on 3-year probation. They have to vacate their 2018 Final Four appearance and all the wins from that season. So they can't count the wins from that season. And they made the Final Four. They didn't win the whole thing. They made the Final Four. So they have to take their banner down from their arena. But that's it. No postseason ban. No more bans for Bill Self. Oklahoma State had
it's like $500, right? Like it's like a.
And they were postseason banned for a year. The Cowboys were.
Yeah, there's just it's not equal in how they treat teams, and yeah, the Oklahoma State thing was ridiculous. It was like a $500 deal where it was they didn't know, and then they reported themselves. They turned themselves in as opposed to trying to hide it from the NCAA, and then now you've got these other schools that are dancing around it and not being honest, and so you're going to punish the teams that come forward and say, hey, we made a mistake. We didn't know, here it is, and it was the equivalent of like $500, I think. That's where my issue is with the NCAA. And so if they're going to start handing down punishments, they better keep it pretty even and equal, and if they're going to set a precedent with one, you can't go to somebody else and say, oh, well, yours is going to be a harsher punishment. It's got to be even. If you're going to hand down punishments for certain crimes or, violations, then the punishments need to fit that crime equally, not just, hey, this school is going to get it worse than this school.
And I don't know all the particulars. KU may not be guilty of much, but their violations on paper were much worse than Oklahoma State's.
Oh, they had like a grand jury indictment, right?
They did.
Yes.
So Bill Self sat out 4 games last year, and they're going, that's fine. That was enough, Bill. You did your job. And here Oklahoma State had to skip an entire postseason. And I think they were good enough to make it. I think it was about 3 years ago. They haven't been great the last couple of years, but I think they went ahead and just didn't even, which think about the lack of motivation your team must have the entire season when they know they can't make March Madness. That just has to zap you of that. So I'm sure there's some Oklahoma State Cowboy fans that are not real happy today. KU basically is done with that. They do have to, this is really harsh on them, they're going to have to pull down that Final Four banner from the 2018 team that can no longer reside in Allen Fieldhouse. So it's just some off-the-field things with the gambling thing going on in Iowa, and then that came down today on Kansas basketball. All right, again, we're going to hear from Searles coming up here in just a couple of minutes. I'm sure he talked some off. He had to have talked some offensive line in this.
Yes, he did. Yeah. He did. He definitely did.
Which I thought they were pretty good the other night.
Yeah, and Cole, did you include the part about his midseason MVP?
I think I did.
So wait till you hear that. That might.
Am I going to be surprised?
Maybe a little bit.
That's a teaser right there.
But yes, we did talk offensive line. Of course we did. But we talked a lot of black shirts. That's where we started.
All right, very good. All right, again, 402-413-2400. That's the number if you want to be a part of the program. That's our Woodhouse Auto Family Sports Nightly hotline. They are your trusted auto partner with 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back to hear a part of the Sideline Slice with Searles. We'll do that next.
I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program. I'm recruiting for the team, and I want it to be the finest team in America. I'm looking for someone like you to be a teammate's mentor, someone who is willing to reach out to a child and make a difference. Meeting with a student once a week at school can make an impact in their life and in the community. We want you to join our team. Go to teammates.org to apply today.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Winning a new truck playing trucks and bucks from the Nebraska Lottery changes a person. I used to drive around hills. Now I drive over them. I used to hate helping friends move. Now I can do it in one trip. I used to own my own tech company. Now I'm on the professional rodeo circuit. Actually, I'm going back to tech. Bulls are really mean, and I just don't look good in chaps.
Play trucks and bucks from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. Plus, 96% of Outback vehicles sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Longevity based on Experian automotive vehicles in operations versus total new registrations for model years 2023 to 2022 as of December 2022.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Allergy season is officially here. Your home should be a place where you can escape dust, pollen, and other allergens, but every time you enter your home, you bring them inside. John Henry's offers numerous products to remove allergens and germs from your home. Call John Henry's today to learn more about our indoor air quality products to breathe easier in your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
That's my neighbor, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, John.
Joe's about to make a very big mistake. Hey, Joe, you think it might be a good idea to call 811 to have your underground utilities marked before you start digging?
John, that's just for big projects.
Actually, it's for any digging project. Hey, congratulations, Joe. You found your electric line. Remember, safe digging always begins with a free call to 811. You want to borrow my phone, buddy?
Brought to you by Nebraska 811.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
What's colder than the coldest? A polar bear. Live reports of a polar bear on the loose. Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nash Hutmaker here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. The techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on new York equipment. The best warranty in town.
We're back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres Solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night. Every week, Jessica sits down with Jeremiah Searles, does a podcast titled Sideline Slice with Searles. Here is a snippet of this week's episode.
All right, let's start at the beginning, the goal line stand, and give it to me from the perspective of an offensive lineman on the other side of the football, because, I mean, obviously we could talk about the momentum swing, and I could tell you what the sideline was like for Nebraska, but when you are able to do that as a defense, what is the feeling for an opposing offense when you cannot get it in on 4 downs on 4th and goal?
demoralization. I mean, pure and utter demoralization. When you march right down the field on the opening drive, you're feeling yourself, you're feeling good. You get first and goal, and you get 4 chances at that, and you get stood up at the goal line each and every single time. It sucks the air and it sucks the life right out of the entire team. And you as an O-lineman feel that because it is your fault. Because it is. You should score on your man. That is the coaching point when you're on a goal line or you're on short yardage. Get the first down with your man. Score with your man. The back will ride right behind you. And watching it back and watching the tape, great push up the middle by Nash, just creating a pile, not allowing the back to be able to hit it full steam. He had to take a cut in the backfield. And Bullock and Bullock and Henrich and Chief Borders, those guys coming flying like missiles over the top. I mean, like complete missiles meeting that running back on their line of scrimmage. And as an offensive lineman, you come off on the sideline and everyone's looking at you like, really? Really? You couldn't push him half an inch? I mean, that ball, Jessica, I was looking at through the binocs up in the booth. I was like, that thing's touching the white. Like, you could have just fallen forward. I mean, they had to reset the clock because the center, like, moved it half an inch forward, and it was over the goal line. Like, it was so close, and they just couldn't do it. And as much as I hate saying that won us the football game, I think with them losing all that confidence and losing all that moxie there and the Huskers gaining everything from there and going down and scoring 3 points off of that, the game, in my opinion, was starting to fall out of hand for Illinois right after that goal line stand.
And so now take me through with your that's your team, your teammates that just did that, and you're the offense sitting over there on the sideline thinking, okay, we're about to be down 7-0, and then you see your defense rise to the occasion. How does that light a fire under you before you take the field for the first time?
Yeah, it goes into complementary football. You want to play hard for your brothers across the ball. All 3 phases want to play well, but you know that you are given a gift. When you stop a team on a 4th down as an offense, you're given a gift, and you want to go respond and take advantage of that gift. It's essentially, in a shape or form, a turnover, right? They had at least 3 points on the board, and now it was gone to 0. So flipping the field's the first thing you think about when you get there, and you think, got to get the first down, right? Got to give my punter some room that if we have to punt, he's not punting from 10 yards away. So the idea is to get the first down. We do the quarterback sneak, give ourselves some breathing room, and I love the play call by Satterfield of going max protect, send them deep. Those safeties have their eyes. Those corners kind of have their eyes in the backfield thinking it's a run, trying to get up there and run support. And Marcus Washington does a great job just running by the corner, finding the hole shot between the safety and the corner. And Harburg delivers a very beautiful ball. And from there on, the route was on.
Well, 21 rushing yards total for the game for Illinois. Huge. The 5th time in 6 games that they've held an opponent to under 60 rushing yards. What were you seeing out of the black shirts in the way that they did respond? They responded in a big way, but what was allowing them to have so much success against specifically Illinois on Friday night?
The big thing, obviously, they were missing a couple starting running backs, which hurts, and then Love ends up getting hurt there, and so they had only the true freshman Fagan back there running the ball, who's an enormous human. I thought that Tony White's defensive plan for containing Altmaier specifically was really well. He was their leading rusher coming into the game. I know Love got hurt during the game. They're already down a couple starting running backs, so they were reeling in that specifics already. But Princewell was in spy on Altmaier. MJ Sherman and Chief Borders at times were kind of on the edges, making sure he didn't escape. And then really got to give a lot of credit to Nash Hutmaker, Ty Robinson, Elijah Judy, Cam Lenhart, all those guys that rotated in there, Van Poppel, of just not allowing these offensive linemen to get up on our linebackers and allowed them to play fast, physical, trust their eyes, and shoot their gun downhill. So I thought the defensive scheme was great, and they played within the scheme, which really turned. They want to be a run-first team, as every Brett Bielema team has ever been. So hats off to Tony White and that defense, and really just hats off to I'm just going to say it. Hats off to the Nebraska boys. I mean, Gifford, Bullock, and Grant Hagee making plays. And the Nebraska boys showed up to play. Some of those guys that were walk-ons and just heartbeats of the program, they all showed up in a big way and made huge plays for this defense and this team.
You talk a lot about this, and you said this before about, even when you were on the call at Colorado, and at times when you need players to make big plays, sometimes Nebraska was lacking in that. But I think you can point to the defense. Now, I know that there's stuff to work on the offense, and this coaching staff and players will be the first to tell you that. But I think you can point to the defense and say, hey, when plays needed to be made, they did that. What you've been asking to do, some of these guys to do in those big moments, step up and make a play. I mean, this was really a good example of that, I feel like.
And they didn't press, like we talked about last week, what happened against Michigan, of them trying to go outside the system to make that play, to go rogue a little bit. Everyone played very assignment football. I didn't see any, from the naked eye, missed assignments, blown coverages, guys out of their gaps, right? Sometimes they'd make a play, offenses are going to, but the big plays came to them because they trusted Tony White's play calling, they trusted the system, they trusted that he's going to scheme me open, and then I got to take advantage of that opportunity when I'm going to get a free rush, or I'm going to get a single rush, or I'm going to get a rush on the back, right? And I'm going to take advantage of those and execute those. But they did it all within the system, and the big plays came because they played really well on first and second down, and they were able to get them in third and longs and third and manageables for the defense to dial up those pressures and let Tony White's scheme come to play. So really proud of those guys for taking the coaching points, right? That's a big thing I wanted to mention too. Last week you heard Rule and you heard all the coaches talk about, man, we didn't play within our system and guys didn't do their assignments. Everyone trusted that, and that's a great growth measure of a team of, can you take the coaching from a big loss and then implement it during the week and then have that roll over to the next game. So that's a big growth of the program step for me too, as I'm watching this Nebraska rebuild. Those are the kind of things that I want to see as we start to move forward under the Rule regime.
All right, let's flip things over to the offensive side, and let's start with the guys up front. You had to be pretty pleased because, I mean, there were times at the end, and you've mentioned this several times about when you are really exuding your will on someone at the end of a football game and the physicality. And you were talking about Nuri finishing guys off and Ben Scott. You had to love the way that the physicality was still there and very evident even at the end of the football game.
Yeah, imposing your will is the best way to win a football game, and to win it on the ground and to have the ability to rush the football over and over and over again and be effective in your rushing was really good until the final 3 drives, right? Everything was really good. The final 3 drives, and we'll get to it, but overall, I thought that we found more of an identity in the run game, more downhill, more of that zone read, kind of pushing things more vertically instead of trying to stretch things out. And then I love that was our identity. We did it. And then the wrinkle was kind of the little gadget flip to Billy Kemp coming around the edge or someone else to stretch the edge, just enough to keep them honest. But hats off to Corcoran and Nuri and Piper and Ben Scott and Bryce Benhart and Fedoni and Bullock too. They're involved in the blocking schemes. I felt like they had probably their best game rushing the football against a Big Ten opponent, right? They did against La Tech. They were able to do it against NIU, but to do it against a Big Ten opponent is confidence for those guys, and we saw them working the way that Raiola and Satterfield talked about how we'd seen them working throughout the training camp through spring ball. So really excited for the way they got to do it. We just need to make sure that we finish with the ball in our hands. If we have a chance to ice the game and a chance to finish the game and turn it over, then we really want to make sure that we ice that game, ball in our hands, effective rushing the football and holding on to the football.
So, I know the one turnover with Emmett Johnson and Heinrich Harburg, maybe some miscommunication there. And Emmett, you're asking him to be in a role that he hasn't been in before. And that was when Anthony Grant was injured on the sideline, getting, I think, retaped, getting worked on a little bit. So, but I think he's a young guy. We saw some flashes from him, too. He had some pretty decent runs. He'll learn from that. But that one turnover, I think, was not on anything other than maybe a lack of experience with a quarterback and a running back.
Yeah, and I mentioned it on the call, too. That was a big eye set, right? Had the fullback in there, the running back in there. And historically, that's been Grant's running set, right? He's more of the power back, the downhill, hit it in the gap type of running back, and where Emmett was more of the out of the shotgun, the kind of the jitterbug, get up, make a guy miss, and he showed some really good elusiveness, I thought, with being able to get to the line of scrimmage and making the linebackers miss. And so you put Emmett out there now, and you're like, hey, you're now the big power back. Not sure how many of those reps he's taken in practice, right? You talk about he was not really in the rotation for the first 3-4 weeks because we had Ramir and we had Gabe and we had Grant and then we had Emmett, right? So now he gets thrust in there. How many true handoffs has he taken from Harburg in that moment, right? How many times at that mesh point have they collided? And as most people that played the game knows, when you get in the game, everything speeds up, right? You might have taken some of those in quarterback center exchange, pre-snap, pre-practice, and post-practice, but even in practice. But that was I think that was the first time in the game he had taken a under center turnaround true handoff fashion, and it was just a bad mesh point between him and Harburg. And you're right, he'll learn from that. He'll understand that, and any good player is going to continue to just keep repping that and repping that and repping that, because we're going to need him down the stretch. He was a really nice bright spot for us in the second half.
So that was a small portion of this week's episode of the Sideline Slice presented by Valentino's Pizza, the official pizza of the Huskers. You can listen to that full episode out now on our podcast platforms and on our YouTube channel. So Cole did not include the midseason MVP portion of it. So who would you guess? I think you could probably guess defense.
I think you would put Gifford as defensive MVP.
Nope.
Really? Omar Brown?
You think he's going to put a defensive back there as his midseason MVP?
Nash?
Yep, Nash.
Okay.
And then on the offensive line, he said most improved / MVP.
54.
Bryce Benhart.
Yeah.
Yeah, which of course the offensive lineman went D-line, O-line. But, he talked a lot. So then that led me to the question. I said, would you, 2 and 3 years ago, would you have guessed that at this point you would be saying Nash Hutmaker was our best defensive player? He goes, not a chance.
No way.
But, that goes back to the conversation that I had with Nash back with the Cornhusker conversation, and he chose football over wrestling. Wrestling, he had a clear path to maybe be an All-American, potentially a national champion. I mean, he was a dominant wrestler, but he's like, I knew my ceiling was a lot higher in football. I knew it wasn't there yet, but I had a lot of room to grow. And so that is the perfect example of, hey, if you can't play right away, get in there, do the right things, you can develop. And now, I mean, that fourth down goal line stand, I mean, he was a big part of it because he was able to get the push that allowed those linebackers to fly in. And he's been impressive this year.
Do you agree with both those picks?
Well, Probably Nash, just because of what we've heard from the staff, and it starts up front. And what the defensive line is doing is allowing the back end to play the way they're playing. I'm with you though. I think Gifford has got to be up there too.
He's a lead tackler.
Yeah, and he's done some good things.
Yeah.
But a lot of what's happening is because look at the rushing totals. Mean, it's just. Yeah. You've got to, I think, start up front on what the defense has done, and I think Tony White probably agrees with that too.
No, and Nash did have a big influence on that goal line, but Matt Rural was pointing out Roddy Van Poppel making those plays down on the goal line too.
Yeah,
so,
obviously when you make a goal line stand like that, it takes everybody.
People.
But Searles was saying when he went back to the tape, the way that the push that he got, and he's not. He's winning his one-on-one battles, but then people are having to double. He's not moving. Like, people are not getting through him.
Right.
And so he's just he's just an anchor, and he just provides that anchor for that defense. So I think that's got to be where you start. I probably would lean towards Heinrich Harburg at this point.
Well, I was going to say, he's really done a good job since being inserted as we've won 3 of the 4 games he started.
Exactly. That's where I was about to go. 3 of the 4 they've won, so...
What do the folks think? Who would your first half MVPs be on offense, defense? 402-413-2400 if you want to call us or fire off a text. We'd love to get your take on all of this. Visit a participating AGCO dealer between now and November the 3rd. Get yourself entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa football game coming up on Black Friday, November 24th. We'll also throw in some pregame tailgate passes. Go see True Turf and Ag in Osmond, Columbus and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Implement. To enter, you may win this season. All right, who's your offense, defense MVPs at the midway point of the season for the Cornhuskers? Love your take. We'll get into that next.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Woodhouse Hyundai is the easy choice when shopping for your next vehicle. Save $3,500 off MSRP on all in-stock 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe's. You can rest easy with Hyundai Shopper Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty at WoodhouseHyundai.com today. Based on example MSRP of $36,514 for 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe SEL. Stock number H230905 with approved credit. Tax title license extra. Must finance with Hyundai Motor Finance. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Offer expires October 31st, 2023. See dealer for details.
In 1923, Bert R. Benjamin had a vision, an all-purpose tractor that could do more. With that, the Farmall was born. This year, Case IH is celebrating 100 years of Farmall, 100 years of milestones, 100 years of innovation, passion, grit. And they're doing it through your stories. Share them at farmall100.com. One lucky storyteller will win their own Farmall, the tractor that is the one for all.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Everyone remembers Nebraska's national championships and Heisman Trophy winners. Most people also know Nebraska holds the record for the longest home sellout streak. But did you know Nebraska also leads the nation with 351 academic All-Americans? Or that Nebraska has more today's top 10 award recipients than any school in the country? Beardmore Subaru is proud to support and celebrate Husker athletics and Nebraska student athletes again this season. Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the 3-row 2024 Subaru Ascent. It's the biggest SUV we've ever made. Love is now bigger than ever.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
At Sid Dillon Chevrolet, we prioritize our customers and promise an honest experience from start to finish. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo and experience for yourself why we are Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer. And as your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, we offer commercial vehicles including medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Visit SidDillonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we're born to raise. At Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
As a fan, you wear your jersey on your back and your heart on your sleeve. There's a place for people like you. The Cox Fan Zone. Play NFL Pick'em and Collegiate Pick'em for a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card each week, or even a $500 Visa gift card grand prize.
Hey, Husker fans, this is Greg Sharpe. Say Fan Zone in your Contour voice remote to play. Not at home? Visit Cox.com/fanzone. Go Big Red.
There's no community like a Cenex community. And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
We're back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on this Wednesday night, 402-413-2400. The number if you want to participate in the program. We asked you going into the break, who would be your first half MVPs on offense and defense? Art in Los Angeles, he agrees with Nash on defense. He goes with Kemp on offense. And I like Kemp, but I don't know that he's had an impact in every game. There's been some games he hasn't hardly had a catch. Not his fault maybe, but he hadn't had a catch.
It's just so hard because on offense, some of the guys that we might be talking about in this conversation are hurt. You know, the running backs or some of those wide receivers. And so they've just had so many injuries on the offensive side of the ball that it's hard to pick one that's made an impact in 6 games. And so that's where, and that's what he said about Bryce Benhart, is that we're not saying his name, so he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's been solid and doing his job over there on the right side, that he's really come into his own over there. I think maybe you could say Ben Scott, just being the center and dealing with 2 different quarterbacks, and they, for the most part, have run the ball really well. So I don't think you could go wrong with somebody on either of those 2 on the offensive line. I think those 2 have probably been the most consistent in 6 games. So to me, it's kind of hard to pick one on the offensive side. I think there's 2 or 3 that you could go with. I also was telling you during the break, had Cam Linhart not been hurt, he might be in this conversation. Right. Because if you talk about getting to the quarterback, he was doing a very good job of that through those first 3 games and was causing quite a bit of disruption. So, are you looking at the numbers? Are you looking about who's anchoring? And of course, Searles is going to look to the defensive line. But I think there's a couple, 2 or 3 that you could lean towards on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, there have been some really good. John Bullock has played really well. He had a terrific game, I thought, at Illinois.
Well, and he had to start for Nick Henrich at the beginning of the season, and then now he's been in, and he's kind of solidified his spot there, right? But he's been solid there, and Deshaun Singleton might have been in that conversation. He's made some before he got hurt,
Absolutely.
So there's a number of guys that you could turn to, but I think the reason why we're all probably leaning towards Nash is because it does start up front in that defensive line, and he's been the one that's Riley Van Poppel's been solid, and he kind of has come along, right? Yeah. And Ty Robinson missed a couple of halves, and so I think the one constant on that defensive line has been Ty Robinson. Princewell's come along, but was he as good at the beginning? So it's just it'll be interesting to see how this conversation goes at the end of the season. But it's fun debate.
There's half the season still to go, so it could certainly twist and turn from that point. Let's go to Northern Indiana. John, you're up next here on Sports Saturday. Good evening.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I drive truck, so I'm always on the road, especially on Saturdays. My favorite sport, college football, and I'm tied to the radio. I never get to see it on TV. But saying all that, I get a chance to listen to Nebraska football a lot. They're my favorite team. I get a chance to listen to a lot of other teams. And I just want to say something about our radio announcers and our whole radio group. They just do an exceptional job. What I consider is way above everybody else that I've ever listened to. And that has to do with just about every team in the Big Ten, almost every team in the Big 12, teams in the SEC, Notre Dame, everybody. And I'd like to point out just one specific person as my MVP, and that is the person that calls the play-by-play for Nebraska football. He is so exceptional at what he does in painting the picture of what is going on in the game, keeping you updated, and seeing the whole field. Most guys cannot catch, most announcers that I listen to will never catch a yellow flag until after the play is long over and they can't figure out what there's a delay for. Our play-by-play announcer sees the flag when it's thrown and almost always can tell you exactly why it's thrown. He can spot the ball. He tells you right away how many yards that we have covered in a play and keeps you up to date in just exactly what's going on. Entertaining to listen to. And, I think that he is just the most exceptional person that I have ever listened to on the radio for play-by-play when it comes to football, and he needs to be acknowledged and recognized as an MVP.
John, appreciate it. Thanks for the phone call. I'll pass that along. We're at the network. We're really proud of the broadcast from the beginning of it to the end. It's hard to put on an 11-hour broadcast. The guys back here, led by Cole and Russ, do an amazing job of making sure we're up and running every week. And so we'll pass those comments on.
Greg Sharpe, the voice of the Huskers right here. I agree. We have a great team, and we've definitely, I feel like, gotten into a rhythm, but you do a great job. I can't tell you how many times people say how great of a voice you have, and they enjoy listening. And so it's been fun, and I appreciate you helping me along too, because I'm still pretty new in this role too. But you definitely do. I agree with him. You're the MVP. We make it easier, and you can be the MVP.
We have a great team. John, thanks for the phone call from Northern Indiana. Now we're going to California. Jake, you are up next on Sports Nightly. Good evening.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
Good.
Well, I just wanted to share that some of my friends online, Mr. Crypto King, Mike, and Justin and I believe that if we had taken Deion Sanders as a coach, we might be having a better season and next year as well.
Well, I don't know about that. Jake, appreciate the phone call. I don't know. I mean, I think, Colorado went a certain direction with Deion, and what are they? They're what, 3-2 or 4-2, and we're 3-3 right now. And Matt Rule is certainly an acclaimed coach who's done really well at a couple of different schools, and I think Nebraska's very comfortable with the direction they went with this program. It's let's judge all this in a couple years and see where it goes.
Yeah, it's hard to say at this point, but there's different fits for different programs.
Yeah.
And Deion was a great fit for Colorado, and Matt Rule was a great fit here. And there were certain specific things that Trev was looking for when he was bringing on the head coach, and there were things that were needed to be addressed, with this program. And Coach Rule's been a proven coach that's turned things around at programs that were in pretty bad shape, really bad shape in regards to Baylor. So it's just, it's kind of comparing apples to oranges a little bit. And I'm not taking anything away from Deion. Obviously, I mean, he's done what he does at Colorado, and that was a better fit there. And there's a certain fit here, and just for what they were looking for, and that, and also look at the conferences. It's a different kind of football in the Pac-12 and the Big 12 than it is in the Big 10. And I think probably you could argue the style of play for what Matt Rule and his staff does fits better in the Big 10 than what Deion and his staff does, more of the high-octane offenses. That's more suited for those offensive leagues.
About to be a Big 12 team.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like Pac-12,
Year,
Big 12, like
they're going. Yeah.
Those are the leagues that are known for putting up a lot of points, and that's what this certainly Colorado offense has done. And it's not really what the Big 10 does as much.
And hey, like Colorado's at the midway point of their season, so is Nebraska. We'll see how this plays out even before this season is over. Sam in Omaha. Is defensive MVP Tony White?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good one.
That's
but
pretty good.
I agree with that one for sure, no doubt.
Yeah. All right, Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. 402-413-2400. Keep the calls, texts coming. We're back to wrap up hour one next.
Experience a redefined car buying experience with Woodhouse Mazda. Visit the Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers and explore our exceptional lineup. Take advantage of our current offers happening now, like 2.9% APR for 60 months on all 2024 Mazda CX-5 Turbo models. Start your journey with us online at woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra. When financed with Mazda Financial Services. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires October 31st, 2023. See dealer for details.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Something big is happening. Introducing Hy-Vee Perks. Now, Hy-Vee Fuel Saver is Hy-Vee Perks. Get the same great benefits like fuel savings. Plus, save even more on hundreds of products store-wide with Hy-Vee Perks prices like Tide. H Perks price $9.97. And bananas. H Perks price 39 cents a pound. Make the switch or sign up for Hy-Vee Perks and start saving today. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
There's room at the table. Saving you money on every gallon at a CVA fuel site, Central Valley Ag offers a 5-cent per gallon discount at the pump to CVA fuel card holders. Now, for a limited time, get a 5-cent discount and be entered to win 2 VIP tickets to a Husker football game when you get a new or additional CVA fuel card. Sign up to win at CVAcoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Woodhouse Nissan offers a convenient and streamlined way to purchase your next vehicle from home. Browse our full lineup online and have your test drive delivered to you. Lease a 2024 Nissan Altima SR for $369 a month for 36 months and 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit, tax, title, and license extra. $4,000 down plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at sign-in. Discounted price based on a sale price of $33,482. $500 NMAC loyalty rebate available towards deal. VIN number RN310868. Offer expires October 31st, 2023. See dealer for details.
Our friends at NDOT want you to buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night. Couple minutes left in this hour. 402-413-2400. Mike in Grand Island, is Snodgrass injured, or has he just fallen down the depth chart? And does Tommy Hill now have to fill a role at wide receiver? Snodgrass is not hurt. He's playing on special teams, so he's out there for that. But, yeah, he's probably back behind a couple guys at linebacker like Mekhi Bear, John Bullock. Those guys have jumped ahead of him in the depth chart. And what about Tommy? Playing more on? What do you think on the offense for Tommy?
I mean, obviously they needed him to fill in on the defensive side of the ball last week. He's playing a lot of defense. I think he's probably a guy that they're going to put wherever they can. Our phones are blowing off.
Yeah, phones are
blowing up.
Braden Binkelman, Harburg has done a great job for a new young quarterback. Totally agree. I mean, Heinrich has really, this is a guy who hadn't played at all until this year when he gets thrown out there. I think he's done a terrific job, and I think Matt Rule would say that too. And his coach has said, he goes, I'm going to coach him hard because he can get better. We're going to keep working with him and making him better. I mean, I said Harburg has to be in that discussion too, just because, they've won 3 of the 4 that he's played. He stepped into a role. He's managed a football game, and that's all you could ask him to do is manage things for this team. So, it's a fun discussion. But I definitely agree with who was it? It was Sam in Omaha, Tony White. It's hard to argue that. The job he's done. The way he structured that defense, the way he keeps rotating people in and out, that's been a huge, I think, just a boost for this program. The way he has managed the guys on that side of the football, and I think they're having a blast playing defense. And you noticed that week 1. You noticed the kind of the calmness of the defensive staff and the defensive players way back in week 1 against the Gophers. Yeah, and just the communication, and it was like a well-oiled machine in week 1, but it's next play, but then it's also, hey, play free. And that's what we've heard Tony White say, play free and fly to the football, and it's enjoy, and they enjoy it. They have fun on the sideline, but then they want to put their hair on fire, but then they want to celebrate when they do something, but then they're also looking on to the next. It really has been since week 1 that I've been super impressed with how this defensive staff have had their guys ready to roll. Fast first hour. Keep the calls, texts coming. We have an open segment coming up on hour number 2. We're also going to go around the Big Ten of our Blitz and talk some Husker soccer in the second hour of the program. Don't go away. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. October is National Chiropractic Health Month. Regular chiropractic care has been a game changer for me, both during my career and still today. It's the recommended first treatment for chronic lower back pain over prescription opioids. It's natural, drug-free, and safe for all ages. Discover the difference of chiropractic care. Relieve, restore, resume your life. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm sports media student Connor Clark with Campus News. Engineering professor Ronald Faller has been named a Fellow of the National Academy of Inventors, the highest professional honor among academic inventors. As director of UNL's Midwest Roadside Safety Facility, Faller has played a key role in developing innovative roadside safety technologies that are used around the world. Faller has earned 8 U.S. patents and 3 foreign patents over his 35-year career.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Good evening. I'm David Swotek, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce is listed as questionable for tomorrow's game against the Denver Broncos. He injured his right ankle during the second quarter in the Chiefs' victory over the Vikings, but he did come back to play in the second half, so maybe he will push through the pain for tomorrow. Huskers women's gymnastics released their 2024 schedule today. They will be heading to Iowa State on January 5th for the first meet of the year, and the first home meet will be on January 20th in Bob Devaney. Huskers baseball rounded out their scrimmage series today with the red team pulling ahead, winning against the white team 9-4. Sophomore Dylan Carey led the offensive charge with a home run in the bottom of the third, scoring 2 runs, and the red team scored 4 more points in the bottom of the sixth, helping the red team win the series 2-1. And in the majors, let's take a look at MLB scores for tonight's playoff games. The Atlanta Braves and Philadelphia Phillies are tied at a game each in their series. The Phillies are pulling ahead in Game 3, 8-2, in the top of the 8th. Game 4 of this series between the Houston Astros and Minnesota Twins started an hour ago, and the Astros are looking to finish the series out. They are ahead 2-1. They are currently tied 1-1 in the top of the 4th. The Los Angeles Dodgers and Arizona Diamondbacks play Game 3 of their series tonight as well. The Diamondbacks are hoping to sweep the Dodgers. Diamondbacks are ahead 2-0. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit the 1890nebraska.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Here's the snap back to Reggie Love. He gets hit at the goal line, and a ball might have popped out. I don't think he made it in there. Nebraska's black shirts have put together a goal line stand and will take over at the 1-yard line.
Husker volleyball sent to the left. Krause again. Unreal. Another thump from Lindsey Krause.
Here's the snap back. Zone read. Take the handoff. Harburg's got it. 20, 15, 10, 5, dives, touchdown, Nebraska.
Controlled by the Huskers. Again, Lindsey left pin for the match. She got it. 25-14, Huskers set the race. Sweep number 9 this year for Nebraska. And your Huskers are 15-0 and a perfect 6-0 in the Big Ten.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back for hour number 2, and it's getting dark outside. Our days have shortened up here. We're going to be flipping the clock ahead in a few more weeks, and it'll be dark at like 5:45 in the afternoon. So all that is coming our way. Winter is approaching. In fact, they're talking about a little snow on the Panhandle, maybe even by the end of the week. They can keep it out. Sorry, folks out there in Chadron and Scottsbluff and maybe even Alliance. By the way, Kathy, thank you. Appreciate your text. Call in sometime. Haven't heard from Kathy for a while, but she wanted to wish us a nice bye week coming up. We're going to have a Big Ten Blitz coming your way here in a few minutes. We'll talk some Husker soccer later in the hour. And if you want to be a part of this hour, 402-413-2400. Jake, last hour in our call, he's kind of stirred some emotions up, talking about should we have gone the Dion path. We got some strong texts coming in there. One texter said, I'm a Dion fan myself, wouldn't mind a little bit more hip-hop vibes in our program. Mark says, smartest move that Trev ever made was not hiring Dion. And I don't want to say everything that Mark texted. We don't need that sideshow that comes with him in Lincoln, Nebraska. So, it's probably hot and cold on Dion, but I'm perfectly satisfied with where we are with Coach Rural.
I am too. And I'm not taking anything away from Dion and what he's done at Colorado, but I think it's a little too early to say that this should have happened or this should have happened. I mean, it is early in the process of them establishing their programs, and there's a lot to play out in this deal. You don't make a decision. First of all, you don't in year one, and this is it's a process with the head coach, and so just because you want to win instantly and you think that because Colorado's found a little bit of success starting that you think that to me is a silly kind of take on things. If just because you think Colorado is off to a better start than Nebraska, that was a better hire, that to me is silly because it's not where this is, and it's not at all part of the big picture. So I'm happy with this coaching staff as well and what they're trying to establish. And again, as I mentioned, it's two different styles of head coaches and two different styles of programs, two different styles of conferences. And so it's just all about fit, and I think Trev found the perfect fit.
I agree. Jim in Columbus says, I was watching the Nebraska 95 championship game against Miami on YouTube and saw how many Nebraska-born players were playing in that game for the Cornhuskers. He said, I heard Greg and Jeremiah mention a lot of Nebraska players playing in the game against Illinois. It made me feel proud to hear that. Thanks, Coach Rule, for looking at in-state players. To be fair, a lot of those in-state players were here when Coach came here, but he has made it a point. He wants the best of the guys in the state to stay here and play.
So the staff was still being assembled, and a couple of the guys I sat down with, it was like 2 days before signing day, and we were talking about some of the guys that they were bringing in, and that was a big part of the messaging, that they want to lock down the borders here. They don't want to lose the in-state talent. You can't, you've got to get talent from everywhere across the country. They're going to go back to Texas, which I know was a big part of the pipeline also back in the 90s, right? There's a pipeline to Texas that was played a big part in the success too, but you had to keep the home state talent home too. And so that was from the day one, a huge emphasis of this team. While yes, they had a lot of Nebraska talent on the team, they wanted to ensure from moving forward that they were getting all the top recruits, that they wanted to make sure that those Nebraska guys were staying home. Those legacies are really important too. So the ones that it means a lot to wear the Nebraska across the chest, and it doesn't matter the sport. It just, every time I sit down with a player that's from this state and hear them talking about growing up and being a fan and coming to games, and they had this player that inspired them to be this, and they wanted to be this player, and it means a little bit more when you grow up rooting for a team and then play for them as opposed to just being recruited by them. It just is. It's just, it's how it is. And it doesn't matter wherever you grow up, that your hometown state, it just is that home state school. It just means a little bit different when you wear that on your chest. And so you can definitely tell. And that's what Searle said. They've been the heartbeat. A lot of those guys have absolutely been the heartbeat of this football team this year.
I just had a lot of pride talking about the Taggies and the Hans and those kids, Phelan,
Gifford, Harburg,
all those guys.
There's a lot of. I mean, you can go down the list of the guys that are making an impact for this football team.
And I think that will definitely continue with this staff. But to be fair, though, pretty much all those kids that made plays Friday night were kids that the previous staff brought in as well. And hey, Coach Rule would be the first to acknowledge that. He likes to talk about that. Volleyball doubleheader on BTN tonight. And Indiana has taken out Purdue. And I was talking to a couple of the volleyball staffers, and they were saying that the Nebraska staff, well, after they did that road trip, Jessica, to Purdue and Indiana, and they got pushed to 5 by Purdue, they came home actually more impressed with Indiana than they were with Purdue. They said Purdue's got 3 young freshmen. They're going to be really, really good. But they liked that Indiana team, and they beat Purdue tonight. We got Minnesota, Michigan just getting underway on the back end of that doubleheader tonight. But Indiana's a nice little team. We don't play them again, so I think that's okay, but I think that's a program on the rise.
Going into that weekend, we had Jalen Reyes on the dig, and he said how impressed. They knew that it was going to be a fight at Indiana. They were really impressed with that team and head coach and the direction that they've gone, and that probably aren't getting enough credit. Surely they're going to be in the top 25 after that.
I don't know if they're in. Yeah, they might.
They're not. No, they're not.
One.
But I'm saying after this one.
The one that is struggling is playing right now. How in the world? Does Minnesota still have a ranking by that name? They do.
Yep.
They are 6 and 8.
24.
How are you under 500 and still ranked in the top 25? And I know they played a great schedule, but that's a team that should not be ranked right now. I'm not sure that team makes the NCAA tournament. That would be a huge surprise in Big Ten volleyball if Minnesota doesn't make the tournament. 6 and 8. I think you have to be above 500 to get an at-large bid.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's right.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't know the caller that called in. Appreciate the call, but I guess he didn't know that you were the play-by-play guy. I thought he was maybe just joking. But by the way, so just so you know, if you didn't know and you're calling in, you were talking to the guy you were really bragging on. So we appreciate that call. I had to bring it back to that because I was like, I kind of was thought he was joking, but I guess he didn't know you were the guy.
No, I could tell early on he did not know that that's who he was talking to tonight.
There's a couple people in this chat mentioned it. I was just like,
But they were laughing. The chat, the OGs in the chat were laughing their heads off.
I thought maybe he just thought he was giving you compliments, but he was talking to the guy.
The chat tonight's a little out of control.
They are a lot out
right
of control.
tonight.
It's not the Friday party show. I don't know why they're off the rails.
Maybe it's a bye-week blues or something. They're just kind of trying to entertain themselves a little bit. But yeah, they're having a.
But we just got a text that agreed with the truck driver that called. I'll read it because I know you won't. So let me. He said, "Hey, Greg, that truck driver stirred up some emotions. Also, I agree with him. You won't do much with that call, but he was right on. Thanks for being there. We do have a good team. Greg, Jessica, JB, Lauren are great. Thanks, Lauren Dake from your fan from Sioux City."
Lauren, thank you. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you. We're just really blessed here. We had meetings today with our basketball guys, Kent and Jake, because they've got an exhibition game coming up in about 2.5 weeks, so that we had to get kind of a, what the sales elements that have to be a part of their broadcast. They do a great job. Coatney and Grease are fantastic on women's basketball. And those guys are, we're going to have some fun around here the next several months. And hopefully this football team keeps pushing toward a postseason bowl game.
Yep, I think, Rhonda Revelle and I, just talked to her yesterday, and in the summer, she said that she had mentioned, it's palpable around here. You can feel it, and you can feel some trajectory of just the momentum of so many, and it's not just one sport. There's so many sports that there's just some momentum building, and you feel just really excited about where things are headed. And it's exciting to be a part of, for sure. And
let me throw another one in there. I think Husker wrestling's going to have a good season.
1,000,000%, yeah. And
they start in like 3 weeks.
We'll have to figure out what Peyton Robb's status is, but getting Ridge Lovett back, I know they added some fantastic additions.
I bumped into Brock Hardy today. I think he's terrific.
Yeah, they already had pretty much almost everybody coming back. They lost 2. They're getting a few additions, and then Ridge Lovett adding him back. Absolutely. And then track and field, the year that they had last year, and they got a lot of that talent back. And so, there's some exciting things, and I think we're just now kind of beginning as we hit the stride with volleyball, and football was still a lot to play for too.
What are the text question for us? What are the rules for moving the ball forward, especially on the goal line? Well, you can't do it. And the center for Illinois tried to the other night. He tried to inch it closer to the goal line, and that's why the play got stopped. And
Searles lost his mind.
The line judge came in and goes, no, put that back here. So you can't do it. Those sneaky centers will try to do that stuff, right? They'll try to get every inch they can.
Wasn't that supposed to be a penalty? Was that?
I don't know if that's a penalty, but you just can't do it. A lot of centers will kind of adjust the ball when they get up to it.
Yeah.
But you can't do it right by the goal line. It's too obvious. So that was gigantic. We talked about it a lot. I know you talked to the players after the game. That was huge. Who knows how that game goes if they punch that in there and go up 7-0.
Yeah, it just was massive. And Coach Rule said that at the half. He said, that was big. We needed that to happen, and how monumental it was. We needed some of those things to happen, and the big catch from Marcus Washington to get the first down, but that is what, and Searles and I dove into that a lot on the podcast, and how many times you have to make the big plays, right? And I think sometimes in those close games that the Huskers have lost, you didn't have guys stepping up and making those big plays in those big moments, but you saw guys doing that. Now, is there a lot to improve upon? Yeah, and we've heard coaching staff all say, they're the first to tell you, but the fact that in some of those big moments, you had those plays being made, and a lot of that was because of the confidence that was instilled from that very first play that they made in the goal line stand.
Right.
That is what really ignited things. And then they got some confidence, and then they believed that they could make those plays. But that was that very first play that when you got to step up and make a play, they did that. And that was absolutely monumental for that game.
On the TV show, Coach Rule credited Phelan. Phelan made a tackle. They had a play that got it to the 2-yard line, and Phelan made a tackle right down probably almost where you were standing, knocking the guy out of bounds at about the 2. Coach Rule said that could have easily been a touchdown. He could have got in, and then we don't have the goal line stand. He goes, so Phelan kept the drive alive for the defense, and then guys made plays.
All 4 of those all 4 of those stops from first down, second down, third down, fourth, they were close. And somebody made a big play on all. It took somebody making a play on 3 downs to get to the 4th down. And so they could have scored on the first down, the second down, third down. And so, yeah, I mean, we made a big deal about the 4th down goal line stand. But, I mean, there were big plays that were made first down, second down. And the more that they kept making those plays, the more confidence they got. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to just credit one person when you have a goal line stand like that, because it takes everybody to make a stop like that.
Shane in the chat room says, somebody, screen calls, please, no more Jake. With a laughy emoji. Chat room's out of control, I'm telling you. They're out of control tonight. Hey, folks, our 402-413-2400, that's our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. If they are our trusted auto partner, 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back with a Blitz next.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground-truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Everyone knows there isn't a fan base in the country that travels like Nebraska football fans. AAA Nebraska wants to help continue that tradition with the Huskers Away Game Getaway Giveaway. They're sending one fan on the ultimate away game experience for the Nebraska-Michigan State game on November the 4th. The prize package includes 2 tickets to the game and a $2,500 AAA travel gift certificate to cover flights, hotel, and travel accommodations. Enter now for a chance to win at huskers.com/AAA football getaway. Contest ends October 18th. Expect something more with AAA.
In 1923, Bert R. Benjamin had a vision, an all-purpose tractor that could do more. With that, the Farmall was born. This year, Case IH is celebrating 100 years of Farmall, 100 years of milestones, 100 years of innovation, passion, grit. And they're doing it through your stories. Share them at farmall100.com. One lucky storyteller will win their own Farmall, the tractor that is the one for all.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
What's colder than the coldest? A polar bear.
Live reports of polar bear on the loose.
Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nash Hubbard here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on new York equipment. The best warranty you got.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Feel like you're always on the run? Me too. As an independent financial professional, I help all kinds of busy people. Young families planning for college, couples working toward retirement, people securing their legacy. Wherever you are in life, Emeritus can help you get more out of life with insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. You're moving fast. Let's help make sure you're on the path to a fulfilling life. Find your next step at emeritus.com. Insurance products issued by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. It's a Wednesday night bye week for the Huskers, but there's some other matchups around the Big Ten. Time for us to take a little spin around the conference.
This is the Big Ten Blitz. Rutgers.
Here to talk about the Scarlet Knights, Bobby Darin, who works for 24/7 Sports, ScarletNation.com. Rutgers coming off of a loss at Camp Randall to Wisconsin. Bobby, what was kind of the postscript for Rutgers coming out of that game?
Well, the whole theme of the day for Rutgers was missed opportunities. They were trailing 10-0 towards the end of the first half with less than a minute left, had the ball inside the 5-yard line, threw a pick six, and, 17-0 at the half, it kind of broke the team's back. They weren't moving the ball great offensively to begin with, but that it just changed the whole dynamic of the game. It hung around in the second half, but that missed opportunity was just too much to overcome, and just couldn't get anything going on the ground that day. The passing game wasn't fluid. A lot of struggles offensively, but that play just really, really changed the whole dynamic. Something you can't do on the road against a team like Wisconsin when you're Rutgers looking to create every opportunity you can.
Well, this week, back home for the Scarlet Knights to take on a Michigan State team that has dropped their last three, played pretty well in Iowa City, but came up short. How do you break this game down?
Rutgers comes in as a favorite, and this is a game the team, the fan base thinks that Rutgers really should win. They're going to try to, do what they do on offense. They like to run the football, they go heavy with the run and then, rely on their defense to keep the game close. So I think you'll see more of that. They will mix in the passing game, but it's going to be a run-heavy offense. And last year, Rutgers was able to run all over them. Kyle Monungai set the single-season Big Ten rushing record for a Rutgers player in a Big Ten game last year against Michigan State with 162 yards. So I think they're going to try to really run the football. And, if they can get that going, it'll open up some things in the passing game, keep the time of possession down. But that's the type of game that Greg Sharpe wants to play. Slow the game down, run the ball, rely on the defense.
This is a time of year, Bobby, where you kind of start to get into some attrition. You've got injuries. Game 7 this week for Rutgers. How are they holding up health-wise?
Little injuries are starting to take a toll. Here and there. It's not a major player at one spot, but some key contributors are starting to get banged up, and they really can't afford the depth issues heading down this stretch because, they have formidable starters at a lot of key positions, but behind that, it's not just like a plug-in-and-play guy. So, they have pretty much caught some breaks with the injury situation. Two of the wide receivers that were supposed to come and be big-time guys haven't been there. One injury to Chris Long. Nyseem Brantley still hasn't got an eligibility issue after transferring in. So there have been some issues, but they're not really major ones. And to this point, they've been rather fortunate considering what it could be, in a typical college football season regarding injuries.
Rutgers looking for win number 5 on the season Saturday against Michigan State in Piscataway, 11 o'clock kick Central Time on BTN. Bobby Darin, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Big Ten Blitz, Purdue.
Here to talk about the Boilermakers, Tom Dienhart of On 3. Purdue came up short in Iowa City 20-14. I'll be honest, Tom, I picked Purdue to win the game. I'm sure there probably was a feeling of a missed opportunity in that one for Purdue.
Yeah, no doubt. Iowa was a slight favorite, and you had a feeling. You just had a feeling, a gnawing feeling in the back of your head. Iowa's going to find a way to do what Iowa does and win with defense, special teams, and 1 or 2 timely plays. And sure enough, they pulled it out. To give them credit, Purdue's left licking its wounds, and now they look up. Who's coming to West Lafayette Saturday? The mighty Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier. At this point in the season, how much of Coach Walter's job is kind of trying to keep the team's mental aspect as good as it can be? You're sitting at 2-4. It's got to be tough right now, doesn't it?
It is. Injuries are starting to mount as well, which happens to everybody about midseason, right? Lost one of their best offensive linemen last week. Good young tight ends out for the year. Their best cornerbacks out for the year. And I know Hudson Card is really beat up. Took a lot to get him to the field last week at Iowa. So, yeah, they're licking their wounds, and he's got to try to keep everybody together, keep everybody fighting, and just keep morale up. It's going to be one of those years. This is obviously a tough matchup, and Purdue at 2-4 right now. They're going to be hard-pressed to get to 6 wins to try to get to a bowl.
There's been some magic in the past, Tom, though, when the Buckeyes have visited West Lafayette. For that to happen this week, what needs to take place for Purdue?
Hey, Nick, it's one of the craziest things ever that Ohio State struggles in Ross-Age Stadium. I think Ohio State's got to obviously have multiple turnovers, maybe 3 or 4 turnovers. Purdue's going to have to score what I call an unconventional touchdown, a pick 6, maybe on special teams. And they're going to have to hit some big plays. And that's been a problem for this offense all year. Just not a lot of explosive ability, not a lot of down-the-field ability. They can't throw the ball over the top of people's heads. They're going to have to try to find some way to get some big, explosive chunk plays to go for 6 points, because they're not going to be able to nickel and dime their way to success. So, again, turnovers, getting those big chunk plays and scoring at least 1 unconventional touchdown. If those things happen, Purdue has a fighting chance, I think.
Tough task for the Boilers. 11 o'clock Central on Peacock, Ohio State at Purdue. Tom Dienhart of On 3. Tom, we appreciate it. Thank you.
You guys, thank you.
Big Ten Blitz, Wisconsin.
Here to talk about the Badgers, Ben Wergo of the Badger Nation. Wisconsin coming off of a workmanlike performance last week over Rutgers, winning 24-13. I got to imagine Coach Fickle was fairly pleased with that effort, wasn't he, Ben?
I thought you saw a better defensive effort out of Wisconsin, especially coming out of the bye week. You never know quite how teams are going to respond coming out of a break, especially a team with a new staff and some new players. But I thought the break came at a good time for them, and you really saw defensively a really solid effort. Ricardo Hallman with his 90-plus yard pick 6 right before half kind of encapsulated what was a very, like you said, a workmanlike performance. Offensively, they were fine. Rutgers is a better defensive team than they have been in the past. So to come out of the break with a win, going into this tough 3-game stretch in the Big Ten West, I should say 2 in the Big Ten West, and then Ohio State at the end of the month, that's a good sign for this team moving forward.
All right, let's zip to Saturday's game. Here come the Hawkeyes, who obviously are playing now with a backup quarterback for the rest of the year. This generally has been a low-scoring game. Your thoughts about this matchup for Saturday?
Yeah, that backup quarterback, Deacon Hill, used to be at Wisconsin and transferred out after the firing of Paul Chryst. So there's some connection there between this quarterback and John Budmeyer, a former Wisconsin quarterback and Wisconsin quarterback coach, is also on the Iowa staff too. So there's some connections on both ways there. It's going to be a low-scoring game, especially with Iowa. Iowa's very, very good defensively. They've been kind of porous offensively. You look at Wisconsin, I think you can kind of say the same thing. Defensively, I think they grew up a little bit last week, and offensively, they're still trying to find their groove. So This could be first one to 20 wins, and that's kind of been typical of this series between these two programs for the last 15 years or so.
Ben, I know that there's still a lot of football left to be played, but where these two are in the standings, you can make a case that the Big Ten West is kind of up for grabs Saturday, isn't it?
I think the winner of this game kind of asserts himself as the best team in the West. I mean, Wisconsin's the only team without a loss in conference play yet. Their crossover games are not as challenging as some of the other teams here. The Big Ten West is kind of I would say, a year just with some of the teams and how they've been. And, you look at these appear to be the two top teams early on. And for Wisconsin to have this game at home, this is a big opportunity for them to kind of assert themselves, especially with a tough road trip to Illinois coming up, then Ohio State at home to close out the month.
Wisconsin hosting the Hawkeyes, 3 o'clock Central on Big Fox. Ben Wergel of the Badger Nation. Ben, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Ben and all of our contributors appear with us on our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. When we come back, Jessica is going to talk more about Husker soccer. What a season they've got going on. One of their stars will join the show next.
There's room at the table, saving you money on every gallon at a CVA fuel site. Central Valley Ag offers a 5-cent per gallon discount at the pump to CVA fuel card holders. Now, for a limited time, get a 5-cent discount and be entered to win 2 VIP tickets to a Husker football game when you get a new or additional CVA fuel card. Sign up to win at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Visit a participating AGCO dealer between September 11th and November 3rd and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa football game on November 24th in Lincoln, plus pregame tailgate. See True Turf and Ag in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter. And you may win this season.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. October is National Chiropractic Health Month. Regular chiropractic care has been a game changer for me, both during my career and still today. It's the recommended first treatment for chronic lower back pain over prescription opioids. It's natural, drug-free, and safe for all ages. Discover the difference of chiropractic care. Relieve, restore, resume your life. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. As we welcome you back to Sports Nightly, I'm Jessica Coody, and a special guest joining us here at Nebraska Soccer, winding down their season, and boy, they have been doing some really big things. So Florence Belzil, the junior midfielder from Nebraska Soccer, joining us on the set. Well, how's it going?
Good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Boy, this has been a fun season for you guys.
Oh, it's been awesome.
What's gone into this? I mean, I feel like because last year you guys were playing hot at the end of the season, and then it fueled you a little bit throughout the summer and the preseason, but how have you been able to maintain it as you go on, and now you just have 4 games left in the season?
Yeah, I feel like especially from last year, we have the exact same team, so that's helped us a lot, being like strong from the beginning. I feel like last year we adjusted like kind of at the end. We knew how we were going to play at the end of the season, but this year we started strong from the start, and I think like we've just grown, our confidence has grown in the team, and our chemistry has been really good. So I think, we've been killing it this season for sure.
You have a couple more home games left, but on Saturday celebrated Senior Day. You guys got a big win over Iowa. Nebraska always likes to beat that Iowa
We have
team.
better corn.
I love it. You had 3 assists in the win, but how big was that win? Again, as you continue to build towards the end of the season, how important was that win for this team?
Yeah, it was a really, really crucial game because like Iowa, of course, we've seen like they had a really good season as well. And I think especially coming down the season, like every game is so important and crucial, especially like to making the NCAAs and Big Ten. So I think it was a huge team win, for sure.
Eleanor Dale has been quite the talk around here. She leads the nation in goals scored, but you lead the team in assists. You lead the Big Ten in assists. You're top 10 in the nation in assists. You find her a lot. So what is it about that connection between you and Eleanor that you've been able to make some things happen?
I think me and Elle have very good chemistry on the field. I think that I kind of know what runs she makes. She knows the passes I make. So I think we really work well together, especially with the 9 and 10 relationship. And I think especially like it's my 3rd year here and it's her 4th year. I think we've grown as players together. So I think we just work really well together.
So she had 7 goals and 7 goals the previous 2 seasons. What have you seen in her being able to put together a season like she's having right now? You were telling me before we started recording that you saw this season coming from her.
Yeah, I mean, Eleanor has great potential. I mean, I think she will be in the NWSL or playing in the Premier League. I think that, like, especially her 4th year, I knew she wanted it. I could, like, every practice, she'll work on her finishing. Like, she's always been locked in, but especially this season, she wanted it. And and in a bang for sure.
So what is it about, I mean, because I'm sure teams now know that you guys are trying to get the ball to her. How is she still able to continue to keep finding the net over and over?
I think Eleanor is an amazing player, but I also think we have other players that they can't mark all of us, you know, like Jordan in the wing, Abby Schwartz, Sarah Weber. So I think we have such big threats in the attack that it's hard to just pick one player.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Eleanor, even like when they mark her, 2 people on her, she can still score a good header with her head, you know what I mean? I think she just puts herself in really good positions in the box. The defenders can't handle it.
So, again, this team is leading the Big Ten, top 10 in the nation in goals scored, but also that assist part. How much pride do you take in that you guys are leading the Big Ten and also one of the best in the country in assists?
Yeah, I think assists are as important as goals. I think that, like, having great assists shows how dangerous we are in attacks and how, like, important every person is on the field. Yeah, I think I take a lot of pride on the assists. Yeah.
How do you become a good passer in soccer? What goes into that?
What goes into that? I think it's just like, especially for me, like I've watched so much soccer in my life, and seeing good players play, and I can just envision myself, you know, like playing those crucial passes. I think just repetition and having the love for the game, I think, is crucial for assists. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Sense.
So before we were talking about your position, and you are an attacking midfielder. So tell us about that and how much confidence you feel playing that role.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident, very confident in being an attacking midfielder. I think that it fits me well, and Coach John kind of
trust you?
Trust me, yeah. Trust me in that middle position. I think it works well with the other attackers as well, because we all have such different qualities. Like, example, Abby Schwartz likes to cross the ball. Sarah is a very versatile player. Eleanor's a very, very good striker. And I think we have a very balanced team with me in the middle in that position.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, you are from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Yep.
And we were talking about your name. Pronounce how you say your name when you're back home.
Yeah, so back home, they'll call me Florence Belzil. Florence. So it's really like you have to roll your R like a Spanish. It's like very like French, yeah.
I was not very good at it. I won't try it again on the air, but you go by Flo. But tell us, how did you get here to Nebraska from Canada?
Yeah, so maybe in 2019, Coach Bridgie, our assistant coach, came to see me play when I played for the national team program. And we played against our provinces. And he came to watch me play and showed interest. And I actually was interested before they were interested in me, because my dad came to Nebraska years back and said, oh, I would love to see my daughter play here. I think the culture is amazing. Nebraska's a great state.
That's awesome.
That was before I got recruited. So I already knew about Nebraska before they recruited me. And Coach Bridgie really liked me, and then he came to see me multiple times, and then I fell in love with this place. And especially the coaches being Canadian, I think it's a great contacts for like national team and playing professional, and them being from Canada is really helpful as well.
What was your dad doing in Nebraska?
I think he was just like, it was a work trip, and then he fell in love with it. He loved, and he was always a huge fan of the football team back in the, like when they were really, really good. But, yeah, it's just crazy.
So do your parents, and they like coming here now that you're playing here?
Yeah, they love it. They absolutely love it.
So you come from an athletic family. Your mom was a champion figure skater. Dad was a rugby player. How was that growing up?
Yeah, they're both so competitive, and they always pushed me to be the athlete I am now. And I think especially my brother being a great soccer player, my sister also playing soccer, both of them. It's in our blood, I feel like, just like them always pushing us, but like also being great supports.
Rugby is a pretty physical sport. Did your dad try to instill any of that into you?
I guess so, but I feel like as a player, I'm not like the most physical. I'm more like the little like trickster, you know what I mean? But yeah, he was a great rugby player, yeah.
And then figure skating, you never wanted to do that?
I did that.
Oh,
for
you
a couple
did
of
that?
Years,
wow.
Yeah. I played a lot of sports growing up, like figure skating. I was a diver for a couple of years. I did gymnastics, but figure skating was like, my mom definitely was like trying to push me into that sport, but it just didn't work out.
How important was that just in overall becoming the athlete that you did try and participate in a lot of different sports?
Yeah, I think like trying different sports and like seeing what you love, seeing what you're good at is such a good way to like, enforce like other qualities. Like I feel like in soccer, like being a figure skater helped me in soccer because I'm like a finesse player, and like that like artistic way kind of helped me in the way I was soccer.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. So at what point did you realize, okay, maybe soccer could provide me a scholarship in the United States and maybe I could get a college degree, and what went into that for you?
Yeah, I think my dad was always, because I lived in Colorado for a couple years and I played soccer there, and I could see the older girls getting scholarships. I'm like, wow, like that'd be awesome to play in the States, and knowing how strong it was compared to university in Canada. And then at a certain point, I really knew that I wanted to pursue soccer in my later ages. And then I was like, okay, let's try for this. And I went to a couple of camps, and then I just got better and better, and then like bigger schools approached me.
Love that. Love that. All right, let's circle back and talk about this weekend, because you guys got coming up Thursday, October 12th, Maryland at home. It's the Special Olympics Nebraska awareness game. So 7:05, it's a special game out there. But let's talk soccer first. Again, when you talk about building towards the postseason, how important is this one?
Oh, very important. I think no matter where teams are ranked, no matter where teams stand in the Big Ten Conference, I think every game is hard, every game is challenging, and every game is important. Because we could lose all these games and then be last in the Big Ten. We could win all these games and be first in the Big Ten. I think every game is so important when we go game to game. And Maryland, yeah, they're at the bottom of the conference, but we can't go in overconfident. I think they have super talented players on the team, so I think it's going to be a good game also.
And so I heard me say the Special Olympics Nebraska, they're going to be scrimmaging at halftime. How special is this for you guys to get involved in this?
That's awesome. I love seeing, like, being involved with the community and being around this type of organization. I think it's going to be a great addition to the game, and yeah, it's going to be awesome.
You know, more and more people have started coming out to your matches out there at Hibner, and just to see the little girls. I was out there on Pups at the Pitch night.
Yeah.
And to see all the little girls that were waiting to get your autograph. What does that mean to you guys when you're walking off a hard-fought win and you see all those girls wanting to get your autograph?
It's like, it makes everything worth it. It makes everything, like seeing little girls, like, being so inspired from us is, like, everything to me. I think it just elevates the win. Even if it's a loss and I see those little girls wanting to autograph, it instantly makes my mood better. And I just love it so much.
I love that. When you're talking about, you know, the end of the season and wanting to be playing your best soccer, you know, how good has this team been about just focusing one game at a time and not looking too far ahead, not getting caught up in what's behind, but just taking it one day at a time?
Yeah, I think that's like a big part of our success, is that we go game to game to game. Like our coach John always emphasizes how important every game is, and I think that doing that, it just puts our goals to perspective, and like, we want to do this game for our goal. So I think that makes sense.
Oh yeah. So with 4 games left of the season, I know it's one game at a time, but what does this team need to continue to do to continue to make a resume for the postseason, but maybe potentially host? There's just still a lot on the table for this team to potentially get to do and do some special things in the postseason. So what are you guys looking to do in these next 4 games? What needs to happen for this team to continue to build?
Yeah, so I think that especially, like, we're such an electric team and so energized. I think keeping that grit and energized every single game will help us be successful. And also just being confident, knowing our abilities and just pursuing it and showing it to people. And I think we can do good things.
All right, so another opportunity. They're a fun team to watch. 7:05 against Maryland out there at Hibner Stadium. What does that crowd do for you guys when it's rocking out there?
Electric. It just brings out even more energy, and it's just awesome. I think that more and more fans come up, and it makes it incredible, the atmosphere.
Well, Husker fans, get on out there and watch Husker soccer as their regular season is winding down. 7:05 again against Maryland, and the awareness game with the Special Olympics Nebraska. Lots of fun things happen out there, so make sure you don't want to miss it. All right, appreciate Flo for being here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And best of luck the rest of the season.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
We got to step aside for a break here on Sports Nightly. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns-for-teachers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. October is National Chiropractic Health Month. Regular chiropractic care has been a game changer for me, both during my career and still today. It's the recommended first treatment for chronic lower back pain over prescription opioids. It's natural, drug-free, and safe for all ages. Discover the difference of chiropractic care. Relieve, restore, resume your life. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
AAA Nebraska is giving away the ultimate away game experience. The Huskers road game getaway includes a couple of tickets to the Nebraska-Michigan State football game on November the 4th up in East Lansing, Michigan. The winner will also receive a $2,500 AAA travel gift certificate. That's going to cover your flights, your hotel, other travel accommodations. Maybe you get a rental car. Enter the contest at huskers.com/AAA football getaway. That's huskers.com/AAA football getaway. Expect something more with AAA. How cool was Flo? She was awesome. Great to hear her. And again, tomorrow night they play Maryland. A little nervous about that because of the weather. They're talking about some thunderstorms in and around Lincoln tomorrow afternoon. That's a 7:05 start out at Hibner Stadium. Huskers just 3 regular season games left. They will be, actually 4. 2 this week, Thursday, Sunday, and then 2 next week, Thursday, Sunday. 2 at home, 2 on the road, as they currently sit in 5th place in the Big Ten. But a win tomorrow, and they're going to be favored. Maryland, I don't think, has won a Big Ten match. Would be worth 3 points and a chance to kind of jump up the conference standings with a 3-point effort with a win tomorrow night. So hopefully that happens tomorrow night. Speaking of tomorrow night, it's our volleyball show back on its normal night of Thursday because they're not traveling this week. John Bader, John Cook here, hour 1 tomorrow night. So get your comments, questions ready for Coach Cook tomorrow night. They will be playing Michigan State at the Devaney Center Friday, and then here comes Penn State. Perennial power. Penn State will be here Saturday night. They are undefeated in league play, are the Nittany Lions. So that could be a challenging match tomorrow night. Also, because it's our last show of the week, because we have Volleyball Friday, we will do our Big Ten pick segment tomorrow. The big guy, Jeremiah Searles, will join us. We'll do that. We'll also have the latest installment of Jessica's podcast about great games in the 100-year history of Memorial Stadium. And, oh, yeah, Cole's Joke of the Week tomorrow night.
I thought we were missing something.
Coming your way tomorrow night here on Sports 90. It's been a fun show tonight. Thanks, everybody, for being a part of this one. Thanks to some really gracious callers. It made me feel pretty good tonight with some of their comments about our football broadcast. That is greatly appreciated. So thank you for all of that. Kind of odd having a little bye week, right? No football game this week for the Cornhuskers, but then it's 6 straight weeks of games to wrap up the 2023 season. That'll do it for us tonight. Thanks to David, to Cole, and all of you for being a part of the program tonight. We'll join you, Jessica and I will join you in hour 2 tomorrow. Hour 1 again, the volleyball show with John Cook, hosted by John Bader. Have yourself a great night. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting student Grant Hansen with Campus News. University of Nebraska leadership has launched a $3 billion fundraising campaign to support education access for Nebraska students. The Only in Nebraska campaign the largest in university history, will focus on creating scholarships to make education more affordable, attracting more Nebraska students, and keeping young people in the state after graduation.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
It's being well supported by a provider who understands your health interests and goals. It's ensuring you are well connected to a team of caregivers and specialists. It's feeling well cared for by having someone you can turn to who sees you for you. That's the power of being well matched. And that's exactly what CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match does. Meet the provider who is right for you at myprovidermatch.com.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the